It's working, it's working. Guys, I just dropped my camera. It was on charge and I dropped it and I thought, no, because I dropped this camera last time when I was filming in the gym once and my lens like split, and the lens, if you know cameras, the lenses are more bloody expensive than the actual camera. Hello, my mum. Hello, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today's video is if you do this one thing, and it's proper clickbait, it's real clickbait, but it's the one thing you need to do if you want to get your period back. But first things first, I want to show you something. Dun, 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 dun. Check out this. Oh, what the hell is raining? That's not fair. Can you see? I'm trying to squat down so you can see. Do you see it? It says happy energy on it, and it's got sunflowers and it's got rainbows on it, and it is a bespoke jacket just for me. My friend has started a like vintage design crafty thing where she buys vintage clothes and then does them up, and she's often offering like bespoke jackets, and she was like, do you want one? I was like, yes I do. She was like, what do you want on it? I was like, whatever you think represents me. And she has done this and I'm fully in love with it. Can you see? Just gonna let you see a little bit more as I walk and shut the door. How cool is it? Sick, isn't it? Anyway, let's get back to the video. So this now, it is, hello, can you see? Christ alive, that's bright, eh? So this is proper clickbait. But if there is one thing, can you hear my door going? Now, the reason why I'm doing this video is because it is literally the one thing that we need to do to get our periods back, and to have like a, and it kind of blows my mind that when you put it down to this, it's like, it kind of makes a little bit of sense, but it also is real clickbait, and actually there's so much more to it than just this. But what the one thing, just to sum it up, how we get our periods back is we reduce stress, and that is literally it. And I'll tell you for why. That is because when we're dieting, that means we're in a calorie deficit. That means that we're giving our body less fuel than what it needs to stay at optimum. So that means that it's going to be like losing weight essentially. It's going to be, yeah, in a deficit, and that is a stress on the body. When we exercise, it is tearing like our muscles, so like if we weightlift and stuff, it tears our muscle fibers in order to then repair and get bigger. That is a stress on the body. If we diet for too long, we're in a state of stress for a little bit too long. If we over exercise and we do a little bit too much exercise, our muscles don't have time to repair, so it is in a constant state of stress. You can also lose your period through just like living in a stressful time, so whether that's like what we've been through, all like everyone has been through this year, or if you have like a stressful job or something like that, people might find that their periods are a little bit all over the place. That is down to stress. And when you put all of that together, it kind of sums it up, right? You could even argue if you have like poor body image and you have low self-esteem and low confidence, if you feel stressed about that, that could manifest into not potentially having your period. And I just feel like it was a bit of a brainwave really when I was like, isn't it funny that there's so many, every single person is different, right? So when I get messages about how getting your period back and stuff, I always say, look, I'm not a professional, and everyone is so different, because, and they literally are. How I managed to get my period back will be completely different to how someone else will get their period back. But what is like a common denominator, is that the right way? Yeah, what is consistent in everyone is the fact that we need to de-stress, and I feel like de-stressing is physically as well, so getting out of the calorie deficit and getting over the over-exercising, so we're physically not putting ourselves in stress, but also taking time to self-care and to de-stress mentally, and doing things that really make us feel alive rather than things that we constantly feel like we have to do, is a way of de-stressing. And then also like dealing with that whole relationship we have with ourselves and like de-stressing that part of us. Does that make sense? So I feel like a lot of the time, if we just look at how we view ourselves, when we're viewing ourselves from like a negative point of view, whether that's like we hate our body image, we're not very confident, we don't feel great in ourselves, that's a stressful situation to be in. It's not a pleasant mindset. It's a negative mindset to be in, and it's a low vibrational mindset. Stress is also a lower vibration, and I feel like when, okay, let's look at this. Let's look at it in 3 parts. Let's start here with our relationship with ourselves. Even though it isn't physical stress, so it's not like a deadline or it's not being chased by a bear or whatever, it is literally just how we view ourselves. Because it is a lower vibration, which stress is a low vibration in itself, if we can repair that and if we can deal with that, that's going to really help us. And I feel like I found myself stressing so much about hating myself. I found myself stressing so much about not looking right, not being good enough, looking slightly bigger, or not being skinny enough. Or I would stress about when my next meal was coming, or I would stress about, oh well, I'm meant to be going out for a friend's birthday but there's no low calorie options. I would stress about family occasions, friends occasions. I would stress about birthdays. I would stress about what people thought of me. I would stress about how well I was doing at work, and all of this stress in my head and how I viewed myself and the relationship I had with myself, whether I was wearing the right clothes, whether I was being a good enough girlfriend, whether I was being a good enough friend. And there was so much chitter chatter in my head that it was so stressful to be in. I found myself stressing over things like my eyebrows not being quite in shape. I would stress about my roots coming through a little bit too much. And it's like that relationship, even though it's not what we would class as stress, and I feel like a lot of the time, especially if we're younger, we might get a bit of slack and we'll get like the older generation and going, well, you've got nothing to be stressed about, like you don't know what stress is, try having kids, try doing this, blah 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 blah. But actually, like, stress can show up in so many different ways for people, and I feel like actually having a stressful relationship with yourself in terms of like constantly beating yourself up is never going to help us. So I feel like that is such an important factor, is dealing with the stress that we're putting on ourselves. And that comes from really diving deep, and I would always recommend someone working with a professional or a therapist to deal with this, but really diving real deep and being like, why, right, let's deal with this stressful mindset and this stressful relationship I have with myself, and let's dive deeper. And I've done hypnotherapy and I've worked with Rena McGregor, my dietitian, and I do Reiki and things like that to really dive deep and really try to heal that relationship with myself, so it wasn't such a stressful place to be in my mind. Then let's move on to like the actual physical stress. So the physical stress would be too much caffeine. I have to really monitor my caffeine intake because caffeine is a stimulant and I'm already quite a stimulated person, and if I have too much it can kind of stimulate a little bit more and add quite a lot of stress onto me, and I get feeling quite anxious. But also being in a calorie deficit is a stress on the body because you're not giving it enough calories. If you are like looking to lose weight, a small deficit over a short amount of time to lose weight is like perfectly acceptable. But it's when I talk about being in a deficit and dieting and it being a real stress on the body, and too much of a stress on the body, is when we do it aggressively and continuously. And then we also have over exercising, which exercise itself is a stress on the body. So if I was doing too much high intensity workout, or if I was trying to get PBs on a squat rack or something like that, then that can also be a bit too stressful on the body. So I started to opt for lower stressful situations. So I took my calories, or I just started to fuel myself properly. So that includes giving yourself carbs, all the macros, so essential carbs, protein and fat. Fats are great for hormones anyway and stabilizing our hormones. Protein's great for recovery, and carbs are our preferred energy fuel source. So not only was I making sure I was eating enough calories rather than being in a deficit, I was making sure I was getting balanced of all of them. Then when it came to exercise, I was really opting to really try to de-stress that. So I wasn't going max out, I wasn't doing lots of HIIT, I was opting for lower intensity that would keep my stress levels nice and low. So that's things like yoga, Pilates, walking, or just like a gentle jog that was fueled properly, or like a body weight workout that wasn't necessarily HIIT, it was more like a strength body weight workout. And I was just really trying to keep the intensity really low. And then you have the stress factors, which I kind of call like the stress factors that are out of our control. So you've got like mindset, you've got like physical, and then you've got the outside stressors. So that is things like our jobs, or if you've got kids, or just everything, every life pressures, if you like, whether that's bills to pay, that sort of thing. And it's about really trying to like look at our lives, taking a bit of control back. There's a lot of times that we give our power away, and it's about bringing that power back to these outside forces. Like, okay, yes, this work project is quite stressful, but what is the point in stressing about it? Or you might be worried about paying bills or something like that. And I love the saying of, when you worry, you only suffer twice, because you're worried about something that's going to happen in the future that hasn't actually happened yet. And I think dealing with those things in our lives, I found that really helped me when I get organised, when I really practice self-care. So I do the things that really de-stress me, whether that's going for a walk by myself, whether that's meditation, or whether that's a nice bath, or seeing friends. I was making time for fun, and also I was then structuring and planning my day. It's like, okay, look, this is quite a stressful time at the minute, but how can I manage that a little bit better? Can I factor in and schedule in a bit of de-stressing time? Can I come off my phone a little bit later? Can I make sure I'm still seeing friends? And I think all of that put together, so healing my relationship with food, healing myself with my body confidence, really de-stressing myself in terms of eating enough and doing less intense exercise, and then dealing with my life stressors, all of that combined together, I believe, brought my period back. And I'm not saying that all came easy. It took like 2.5 years and working with a variety of professionals, but I think dealing with stress from every angle of our lives is the one thing that will get our period back. That was a quick video and a rambly video, but I need to go because my phone's about to die, my camera is about to die. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And if you're watching on Instagram, then maybe just share it to your story, or like it and comment, or share with a friend, because it really, really helps me get my message out to people that need it. And I hope you have a fabulous day and you like my jacket, and you should go check my friend out because she is fab. Bye.